Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests, including John Shannon, standing by. Brought to you by our title sponsor, Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox just before we get to John. Scott and Pomo, you wanted me to read this, Rick. I'm a Tocchet fan, but Rick sure makes a lot of excuses for various Canucks brass, Rick being you. And P.S., 18, 12, and 9 is a losing record. 18 wins, 21 losses.
But somehow they're 6 points over 500. Go figure.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree on that as we bring in John Shannon, co-host of the 100% Hockey podcast, NHL analyst. John, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm great. How was your holidays?
Very good. Very good. You?
Well, I was a little hurt.
Did we not send you a gift?
Well, no. We had this discussion a few months back. Our buddy Dallowall ended up in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
And I get up one morning and see on a Saturday that he's having breakfast with Darren Ferris. He's talking to Elliot. My neighbor Ron McLean's with him. I guess my phone number's not in this.
Hey, this summer I'm going to Toronto.
And here's the thing, Rick. There were people on Twitter, regular viewers, loyal viewers and listeners to your show that reminded you better call Shannon.
I'm Toronto this August. Be ready. Be ready. I'm going. I'm going back to Toronto in August. And be ready. I'm right by the airport there. Where's what's that place called? No, I'm
Mississauga?
No, it's not. Millwoods or something by the airport there in Toronto.
Anyway. Next August. Right?
August. Get ready. Be ready.
I'm busy.
You're 0-1 in John's books. That's a losing record.
Mitch Marner's agent. I got to do it.
By the way, I think you have to say NHL 500 because NHL 500 is different than 500.
I agree, but they are 6 points above water, John. They are. You can't deny it.
Only because
I get it.
Have created a system that gives loser points.
Right. Yeah. But in terms of, if you just break it down to wins and losses, they've got a losing record. Under 500. Okay.
But they're still. I actually think, not to defend your co-host because I'm not sure I'm going to use his name again. Yeah. I actually think that, when you think about 45 points, 46 points, they're going to get to 92, and I think 92 gets them in the playoffs. Yeah. So
okay. Yeah.
If they don't improve and they play this way the rest of the season, but I'm convinced that they're going to improve and play better. So.
What makes you? Well, just because of injured players getting back, John. Is that why?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think it could get any worse than it is now. And I do expect that grown-ups will be grown-ups and problems will be solved.
Yeah.
Hey, moving off the subject of the Canucks. Well, actually, this is on the subject of the Canucks because their last game was broadcast on Amazon Prime on Monday. What's your opinion of the job Amazon Prime is doing with NHL games so far?
Well, I think they've done a really good job. I think their game coverage is solid. Actually, that's not true. I think it's better than solid. I think they've done a really good job. I think you got a great game philosophy. Mark Askin, who's an old friend, you know him very well, Donnie. Mark is the game producer. I have a bias. Mark and I have worked together for years. We're still friends. We did Olympics together. I think what his game coverage is traditional. And it tells pretty good stories. The Monday night was Quinn Hughes against Lane Hudson, and you were able to continually use that story all night long. I think they've done a very good job.
And those two players helped with that story. John,
and that's it. You have to be able to read and react to those situations. The other thing is, the picture is beautiful,
crystal clear. Yeah,
beautiful.
So nice.
Streaming in 4K. Is just it's something to behold.
Do you see the value? And I love this. Do you see the value of airing warm-ups before games? which they do?
I think it's something that's different. I think it's something that allows the Amazon people to prepare, and I think that if it gives the viewer at home a feel for what it's like at the arena, then what the heck? Why not? You know, they're not making any money off of it. At the same time, it's not costing them any more money to do. So from that perspective, it's a win-win.
John, you've known Jim Rutherford for a long time. This Miller-Pettersson thing, his patience is incredible right now. They're the talk of the NHL right now. What do you see happening with Rutherford, Miller, Pettersson? I mean, is this thing going to come to a head soon?
I'm one of those guys that says that both of these guys end up being Canucks for the rest of the year, at least. Yeah. I don't see changes being made because I think that the team understands the value of both guys. I think the real challenge for Rick Tocchet and for everybody else around the club is to try to get them to cooperate with each other, particularly on the ice, and then find a manageable environment for everybody to go their own way. You know, what Brian said an hour ago is accurate, and we've all seen it over the years. You know, not everybody gets along all the time. This one, is it exacerbated? Yeah, it is. But I still think that they're professionals and they will get along enough. And a lot of this stuff does go away if the team wins. Yeah. And so you have to hope, and I think that's where Jim's and Patrick's patience comes in. That the team can turn it around and start winning. And then a lot of this stuff disappears.
We've got 3 Canadian teams in the top 10 standings. Winnipeg 2nd, Toronto 5th, Edmonton 6th. Winnipeg's hanging in there tough. A lot of people thought, you know what, they're going to drop off, John. And you know, they'll drop in the standings. But they're staying strong. And Toronto's goals against is great this year. I mean, obviously the coach is working. And the Oilers, they've been red hot of late. Which one of those 3 teams surprises you the most right now?
Well, the Oilers had the best record since the end of November.
Yep.
But I do think it has to be that we would be surprised that Winnipeg is the number 1 team in the league.
Yep.
That said, you know, they started the season 15-1. So they are effectively NHL 500 since 15-1. But they have, in my mind, they have the best line in hockey right now in Scheifele, Connor, and Velarde. They're within 1 goal of all 3 guys being 20 goal scorers, and wow. I don't you don't see that in the NHL right now. They have Connor Hellebuck, who is the fastest American-born goaltender to get to 300 victories. And I think that everybody's just got to be concerned about their blue line right now. Dylan Sandberg is still out. Josh Morrissey got hurt last night. So that's really the biggest question mark for the Jets right now. And if Morrissey's out for a long period of time, I don't have anything on what his status is right now. But if Morrissey's out a long time, they have to be concerned.
We just had a blast yesterday talking with Spencer Carberry, John, who's from Victoria, and he joined us ahead of tonight's game. The Capitals 3rd in the overall standings, first in the East. What do you like about what the Capitals are up to with a lot of players that some would consider cast-offs?
By the way, Spencer Carberry grew up watching Donnie Taylor.
Yeah,
and
big fan.
I think that was.
Why do you think I'm bringing him up?
To me, that was really cool yesterday. Yeah. That was really cool. I think he's done a brilliant job communicating. He's a modern day coach. You know, everybody talks about his relationship with Alex Ovechkin. I think that he has convinced Ovechkin that his system will work. Ovechkin's actually playing 2.5 to 3 minutes less per game this year on average than he has in any other year. And I think that's one of the contributing factors to his success. You talk about the cast-offs. I think Dylan Strome and Pierre-Luc Dubois, guys who couldn't find homes, proper homes, either in Arizona and Chicago for Dylan and Winnipeg and Los Angeles for PLD, they have turned their careers and their lives around with what's gone on in Washington. And I think that's a big part of the story, in addition to guys like John Carlson still being great and Tom Wilson being a huge factor. They are an imposing team to watch. Remember, this was a team for the longest time, guys, that we talked about Ovi, but we also talked about Kuznetsov, gone. We talked about Backstrom, retired.
Yes.
But and to a lesser extent, TJ Oshie, who's been hurt for so much in the last couple of years. It's a fascinating story, and guys like Kevin McClellan, Chris Patrick, the new general manager there, and obviously Carberry deserve a ton of credit.
Yeah, Carberry, by far my favorite NHL head coach as of yesterday, John. And thanks for watching yesterday. We appreciate that. Yeah. And thanks for joining us.
I'm a daily listener, and and then if your co-host had ever taken me to lunch, I might watch every day.
August, book it, done.
We'll send you a T-shirt, John. All right.
Well, it's nice talking to you, Don.
Next week. Thanks, John.
Cheers.